Coming up on today's show, we have a preview, Texans versus Cardinals. We got the injury reports, what to watch for, and even more. But before we get started, I have some breaking news for you here on Texans Today. Denzel Perryman, his suspension was 3 games. He appealed. Now it is 2 games. The NFL took 1 game off of the suspension for Denzel Perryman for that helmet-to-helmet hit against the Cincinnati Bengals and Jamar Chase. But if you watched my prior videos, it's a witch hunt. The NFL is out to get Denzel Perryman. So everybody go down right now. Spam in the comments. We saw Texans players doing it this past week. Everybody, I want to see 200 free DPs in the comment section right now for Denzel Perryman. Free my boy DP. Now, going on to some Texans injuries. Noah Brown, Jake Hansen, Brevin Jordan, Dameon Pierce, Henry Toto, Laramie Tunsil, Jimmy Ward, and Robert Woods did all not practice on Wednesday. The real ones we're looking for. Dameon Pierce missed last week with an ankle injury. Noah Brown has been on fire. He was out with a knee injury, and Henry Toto in concussion protocol. That's a key injury, especially with the Denzel Perryman suspension. These guys limited for the Texans on Wednesday. Will Anderson, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, Titus Howard, and Kurt Hinish. Good to see Nico Collins back out there. Missed this last week. He's C.J. Stroud's #1 target most games. Noah Brown has been electric these past 2 weeks. But Nico Collins, he's really kind of fit into that wide receiver 1 mold. I'm excited to see him come back up against the Arizona Cardinals if he does play this weekend. And the Arizona Cardinals, not a ton of injury to talk about. Their biggest injury, in my opinion, Zach Pascal, the wide receiver. But pretty injury-free for the Arizona Cardinals going up into their game up against the Houston Texans. Interesting to see this matchup. And talking about this matchup, I want to hear from you folks at home. What do you think the score is going to be? Texans versus Cardinals. Texans are home, so let me know what you think this score is going to be down in the comments section. Now, what to watch for in this matchup. First, Kyler Murray, he's back. First game back from injury last week up against the Atlanta Falcons, and he didn't play too bad. Here are his stats from last week. 19 of 32, 249 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception through the air. Pretty decent numbers for a starting quarterback in the NFL, especially his first game back from injury. But what had me more, interested were his rushing stats. Pretty good on the ground up against the Atlanta Falcons for somebody coming off a leg injury. 6 carries, 33 yards, averaging 5.5 yards per carry and a touchdown. He's obviously still a threat on the ground, and that's why I'm looking at Christian Harris. I'm looking at you. You ran a 4.4 40-yard dash in the NFL Combine, a great sideline-to-sideline player. I'm wondering if they QB spy with Harris. Maybe one of the safeties comes up and QB spies, but I'm really looking forward. What do the Texans do to limit Kyler Murray and his explosive ability to, extend plays, and not only extend plays, but also when everybody's down the field, use his own legs and get some rushing yards. I want to see what the Texans and DeMeco Ryans have planned for that. Coming up, more Texans and Cardinals preview for you, more what to watch for, but I couldn't do today's show if it wasn't for our proud sponsors, Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy, folks. I'm telling you that right now. And Prize Picks is the most fun I've had, winning up to 25 times my money this football season. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. If you're wondering, Chuggs, what are your picks? Here are my picks going into this week. I have C.J. Stroud, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, they got a cute little combo thing going for the Kelce brothers. More than 0.5 rushing or receiving touchdowns. You never know. Jason Kelce could pick up a fumble and get in the end zone. I don't know. But I think Travis Kelce scores this Monday Night Football. Jalen Hurts, I'm going more on the 0.5 rushing touchdowns because you can almost book it that he's going to get a tush-push touchdown, as my producer, Rolly, is nodding his head in agreement. And CeeDee Lamb, even though I do not like the Cowboys, got to show some respect where it's due. He's been balling out. I think he'll go more than 86.5 receiving yards. You can use my picks. You can fade my picks. Just do it at Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. They even have a reboot policy that allows, if any players get injured, you'll be okay. For football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. One more time, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS for a $100 deposit match. Now, looking at the Texans run game on what next to watch for, it's been non-existent throughout the year, up until their last game against the Cincinnati Bengals, and Devin Singletary went off. 30 carries, 150 yards, 5.0 yards per carry, and a touchdown. He was the FedEx's ground player of the week, and for good reason. Devin Singletary was balling out this past week, and all this talk about PrizePicks, I want to have you play PrizePicks with me. What do you think? Devin Singletary, more or less than 60.5 rush yards against the Cardinals? What say you? He went off for 150 last week. His prior season high this year was 58 yards. What do you think? Do you think more or less? Let me know down in the comment section, and go to prizepicks.com/CLNS to play PrizePicks with me. Next up, the Cardinals run game. So we're talking about the Texans run game, how well they were last week, but the Cardinals run game has been consistent the entire season. I mean, they are a top 10 rushing team, no doubt about that. There is no doubt about it. I mean, 4.8 yards per carry, that's second in the National Football League. 13 carries of 20-plus yards, that's also second in the National Football League. 9 rushing touchdowns, that's ninth. 64 rushing first downs, that is also ninth. This Cardinals run game has been great and has been consistent throughout the year. James Conner, I mean, a lot of people forget about him. A lot of people, don't even think about him as a top running back in this league. He's been doing it for a little bit. He's been really consistent, playing well. He doesn't have like the crazy numbers, isn't like a top 3 back, but he's consistently been a top 10 back these past 3 or 4 years, in my opinion. James Conner has played very well for the Arizona Cardinals, so that's another thing to watch out for in this matchup. Lastly, will we get a sellout? CJ Stroud, he's calling on Texans fans right now. He wants to know, hey, do you got our back? We're playing our asses off week in and week out. We are trying our best to represent H-Town as best we can. Can we get a sellout? Before we go into his quote and a little bit of his stats on the season, I want to know, what's the best Texans game you've ever been to or watched? In my opinion, that playoff game up against the Cincinnati Bengals, it doesn't get any better than that. That game was absolutely electric. Arian Foster stiff-arming dudes down the sideline. I mean, J.J. Watt doing his thing. It was absolutely insanity. And I know, with NRG, when the Texans are playing well, that place gets pretty loud. So let me know, what's the best Texans game you've ever been to or watched? Now, this is exactly what QB1 had to say this past week. He said, I really hope that next week when we play the Cardinals, that y'all, home fans, pull up and pack that thing, NRG Stadium, out. I mean, he's calling on Texans fans. He is Paul Revere, 1 by land, 2 by sea. He's calling all Texans fans near and wide. Let's sell this mug out. And I mean, why not sell this place out for a guy who's playing like this? I mean, CJ Stroud, 61.6 completion percentage on the year, over 2,600 yards, a 101.0 quarterback rating, 15 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. I mean, CJ Stroud is a front runner for the MVP race. When you have a MVP level quarterback, this place needs to be sold out because it is primetime TV. It is primetime football with CJ Stroud. Yeah, I'm telling you that right now. You got to go and represent, because CJ Stroud, he is playing some of the best football in the National Football League. And we got to show him, we got to show the whole team that we have their back, because Houston Texans, I know they've been in the gutters the past 2 years. I know that they have not been the best team over the past 2-3 seasons, but they're on the up and up. DeMeco Ryans, CJ Stroud has this team in the right direction. And if that's not enough, they're bringing out these sick jerseys. I can't lie. Whenever I play Madden, I've made this combination multiple times. You got the all blue jerseys, blue pants, blue socks, and the red helmets. I mean, I absolutely love the fit. So if it's not for CJ Stroud, if it's not for the jerseys, do it for the team. Do it for H-Town. Go there and represent. That's going to be it for today's video. If you want to follow me on Twitter for more Texans news and rumors, the latest around the NFL and the dankest memes out there, go to follow me at Jeremy Chuggs. And make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're chugging along. We are the fastest growing Texans channel on YouTube. So join the wave today and click that subscribe button or go to youtube.com/TexansTV.